Hi, this is Pastor Steve of North Hollywood First United Methodist Church. Many years ago in Italy, there was a young nobleman who had come back from the Crusades. And as he recovered from his PTSD and his injuries that he suffered, he found himself wandering around the castle that he lived in and the town that he lived in. And he found himself drawn to the small chapel, and he began to read the scriptures. And he began to read about Jesus, and he began to see and hear about how wealth got in the way of people being able to follow Jesus. And so one day, in front of everyone, he renounced the wealth that he was to inherit. He took off all of his finery from his noble upbringing, and he ran off naked throughout the town of Assisi and out into the surrounding countryside. And it was there that he encountered a small chapel that he vowed to put back together, and he collected a group of followers that took on a vow of poverty and a ministry of love and care to the poor. And along the way, there was a richness and a connectedness with God's creation. And eventually, this little group of followers would become a cloister of monks. And today we know that young nobleman, not as Francesco, the name that he was given by his parents, but as St. Francis of Assisi. This week, we will be reading out of Mark chapter 10, a story that Jesus has with a young man who's wealthy, who is a good person. And Jesus says that this man has to sell all that he owns and give it to the poor in order to experience the kingdom of God. It's one of the most challenging scriptures for us who live in our society, a land of $5 lattes, of Amazon Prime, and of retail therapy. It's a challenge to us, the wealthiest country in the world, about the way that we hoard more than what we need and deprive others of the same kind of well-being that we live. And we have to deprive them of that well-being because the earth wouldn't sustain all the world sharing the kind of life that we live here in the United States. It's a challenge. And Jesus' understanding of money and wealth and love of neighbor and worship of God and trust and dependence upon God is upside down in the way that we look at it. We're starting a new sermon series called The Upside Down. And it's about God's kingdom. It's about God's reign. And it's about seeing the world through the lens of what Jesus was bringing to us, rather than the way we see it now. So I hope you'll join us online here at YouTube, or you can come in person on Sunday morning at 10:30, where we will be out in the courtyard. And let us consider what God would have us do with the money we make, with the money we save, and with the extra that we have to give away.